Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday. We have our Learn community here together from E3 Empower Entrepreneurial Education. And as always, we have our fantastic co hosts and guests, Kara Jean from Taking Care of Business. She is our leadership coach. Did I get it right? I've been practicing. We got Irina Pornova, our manifestation coach, and Bruno, our self love coach, as well as me, John Acosta, your host, which I am your business coach or marketing business. So let's go ahead and get started. Today's topic, Bruno brought a fantastic topic for all of us. So, Bruno, let's go ahead and get started. Please tell us a little bit more about how leading with love and how self worth drives business success. So, let me go ahead and get you the floor started for you, okay? There we go.
Hello, guys. How are all of you today? Thank you so much, John, for giving me the chance to lead this one myself and have you all three of you, John, Karen, and Irina, to complete basically all the thing that I said and add on the knowledge that I'm also gonna share with you today. So, the best way that I truly believe that we can lead with self love and self worth in business is to stay true to ourselves, right? To really stay true to what we believe in, to stay true to, from the most minimal things to also the biggest things, right? From things such as I'm going to wake up at this time and I am, to things such as I'm going to, like, because even the minimal details are important, right? And so you don't get loads of self worth, you don't feel super worthy, right? By from by going from like get closer to the mic, sure. You don't get like can you hear me well now? Yeah. You don't get self worth by jumping from level 0 to level 500, right? You get self worth by doing the minimal things. It's like your business is like your baby, right? Or it's like a plant. You gotta water it, right? And I'm not talking about like putting money into the business. I'm talking about like your business being a reflection of your own standards, right? Because when a person looks at a business, they look at the owner, and when they look at the owner, right, they look at the values, the culture, and the standards that a person does, right? I truly believe that a person will see a business worthy if the CEO, the owner of the business, also sees himself as worthy. The way he talks about the business, the way he talks about himself, right? So I think that's like all truly important. So I would like to pass the stage now to John, and I'd like to, for example, understand from a business side of view, right? Um, like, how do you pass the values and the culture, right? Like, how do you make understand your clients or the people that you collaborate with, for example, your own values and culture of your business, right? How can you make understand, right, in from a business perspective, right? Um, how worthy your business is, right? Yeah.
So let me see if I understood the question correctly because I want to give you a good answer. So you want me to explain how do I present to other business owners that I work with how important is company culture? Did I get that right?
Yes, company culture, company values, company worth, right? From the business point.
Well, I usually start with letting them know that a lot of people don't do what they say, but they do what they see reflected on their leadership. So I am very, very cautious on showing them how their actions as a leader reflects um, on their employees. So that helps them get connected with culture. And then once they see the value on that, because you can only take the horse to the river, but you cannot force them to drink the water. If they actually don't see that, then there's not much that I can do at that point. Then I will suggest other professional, because remember, I deal with the business development and marketing on of the business. So if they don't understand that the business culture is what's gonna drive the success on their sales, that's gonna drive the success on the happiness of the employees, there isn't much that I can do, to be honest.
Right. I love that. Can you all hear me well?
Yes, now we can.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Because Kara says I'm muted, and whatever. um, yeah. Perfect. Okay. That's awesome. That's great. Because I think it's um, like you can. I think you can totally tell how confident somebody is about their business and their qualities by the way they speak about it, right? So so I think that's very important the way you pass your message, right? Which actually kind of very connects with Kara's, right? So Kara, how can you lead a pitch, right, to a team about self-worth? How the worker sees himself as worthy in the company, how the worker sees himself worthy as a worker, right? And how the worker really sees himself, right? And how can people kind of deal with each other because self-worth within business goes through loads of levels, right? So
Oh
how
yeah.
can we make it right? How can we better make it work so everybody understands each other, teams work well, groups are you know
Okay, I think so. The question is, how can you align self-worth within in a leadership way throughout an organization to empower the individual within the collective? Yeah.
Mhm. Right,
Okay.
basically, yeah.
So I'm going to start with a story that is one of my favorite ways of knowing if this is working, right? So once upon a time, JFK went to NASA, and we were in the heat of the get a man onto the moon space, right? And so he's walking around NASA doing his tour, and he opens a door, and there's a janitor sweeping the floor. He's doing his push broom thing. And he goes, what are you doing? And the janitor, without hesitation, without batting an eye, turns and goes, I'm putting a man on the moon, sir. I mean, he's sweeping the floor, but he understood that that behavior was a part of the whole, and the whole is putting a man on the moon. So he had to keep that space clean for the scientists to get back and forth with the doctor people were building, and it was all part of the whole. And that, when you look at self-worth, self when you look at that in a business perspective, it's all about understanding that you are more than just a cog, that you are part of, that you are part of the whole, that you are in fact part of putting a man on the moon, even if all you're doing is sweeping, because that's a huge part of it.
Mhm. Awesome. That's amazing, right? So what I hear basically Kara saying is basically value every single thing that every single person does, right? From the lowest paying to the highest paying, from the most enduring to the lowest endurance. If everybody does their job correct, right, you have a machine that works properly, right? And that is a very oiled machine, right? So that is a great ship. So that's also very nice. Seeing each other's worth and boosting each other's success that way. I think that's perfect. Now, Irina, right? Special question. So, right? Special question in the stars for manifestation. So, how the self worth? How can you combine self worth with self love, right? For ultimate stardust, right? In the manifestation areas.
That's a great question. So, first of all, Self worth and self love means that you believe in yourself. Because when we talk about manifestation, it's not only believing that it's possible. First, you have to know that you believe in yourself. Because only when you believe in yourself, that thing becomes possible. And in the way in manifestation it works, first you believe and then you receive. And when we do not have anything physical to attach to our belief, we know we just have to look at ourselves and remember all the successes and wins that we already have, and just remember that if we have done something before, even when we were not sure if it's gonna work for us, we were just going for it because we believe in ourselves or there was somebody who believed in us. That's exactly how we accomplish something. So when we talk about manifestation and the stardust, everything starts from believing in ourselves. And again, everything is a skill, everything is a practice. And once you start really practicing that self love, self worth, with the time you get so good at it that your desire has nothing to do but just manifest itself.
Fascinating, interesting. Okay, so let me ask you another question. Um, okay, so at what point, right? Like, at what point does your own worth, like, how fast can you quantum leap, right? Your timeline with the power of your self worth. Like, so, because for example, that if we connect this with like business, right? You wanna when it comes to manifestation, right? You wanna change your business timeline from not working to working, right? Right? What is the frequency of your own worth, right? How powerful is the frequency of your own worth, and how does it work for for you to change your own business timeline, right? From like, should you set clear goals? Is it in your intentions? Like, do you have like elaborate a little bit,
Okay, so what comes to me is there is a success formula.
right?
And success formula equals your mindset plus your skill set plus your
Right.
inspired action. So when these three components are exercised properly, that's exactly when you see that success in business. And when you are asking for the time when, as soon as we become the energetic match for what we want. In other words, the person that is current person cannot have what we want to have because we did not tap to that next version of ourselves. What does it mean, next version of ourselves? That means that the person who thinks differently, who acts differently, who believes differently, right? All that in combination, up when we up level our self image, that's exactly when we can connect with what we desire. So there is no specific time frame. For everybody it's different. Everybody is on their individual journeys. Some people have more energetic blockages to work through, more limited beliefs, more things that they have to remind, because remember, the inner work is the most rigorous work, and you have to stop yourself 100 of times if you see that your thoughts are going downwards and you start self-doubting yourself, you start asking too many questions. So it's great to have the tools to shift your focus from what doesn't work to, wait, what can I do, what steps can I take in order to make it work.
I love that. That's actually awesome. That's perfect, right? That's amazing.
Thanks.
That is awesome. Um, that's awesome. So from what I'm hearing, like from all of you, right, is I think it's really really amazing, and I think it's like awesome that like there's so many ways to be successful, right? In so many things, when we put at the emotion, when we put the formula, the success, when we put right. So I heard communication, I heard tonalities, I heard about formulas. I'll say that, for example, when it comes to self-love, right? Uh, when it comes, because self-worth and self-love can totally be correlated, right? That's why I kind of made that question, right? When it comes to self-love, it's truly like I kind of mentioned. It's really all about staying true to who you are, right? And really kind of let's say, because your world is internal and external, right? Whether if it is in manifestation, whether if it is in leadership, right? You're always being influenced by like both roles, and it can be very overwhelming, right? It can be it can be frustrating, right? It can cause loads of anxiety, right? Um, for example, I will not ask, because I think we talked about this before, of how like I won't ask like how can you stay true to yourself, because that's another conversation. That's a conversation for like in 2 3 weeks. I presume so. Um, but the question I'm going to ask is how. And I know me and Kara, we had like a little like masterclass on this like a month ago, right? So I think Kara already knows what I'm talking about, right? Uh, how can you destroy your overwhelm, basically, right? Because sometimes people are so overwhelmed, they forget about how worth they are, they forget about their progress, they forget to love themselves, right? In business, right? And I know that men and women deal with this in a very different way. So I want to know the opinion of John, and then I want to know the opinion of women, Kara and Irina. Yeah. So the question is again, if I'm confusing, the question is how, right, from the perspective of a man, how do you deal with that overwhelm, right? And how do you deal with that business overwhelm? What are tricks and tips that you can give for men to deal with their own like overwhelm? Should they just continue? Should they just like ignore how overwhelmed they feel? Should they just like actually acknowledge their feelings? Like what works best for you, John? For example, like what works best for you?
Sure, and that is a very good question. Let me see if I understood it correctly because, again, I want to answer the right way. So, you want to know how, from a man's perspective, we deal with being overwhelmed
Hmm.
and what has worked for me. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sounds good. So, for me, I think that everything's a vibration, right? Up to one point or another, being overwhelmed is a vibration. And I think it's a very high vibration in the wrong way. So when I look at it from that perspective, the first thing that I do is I do my best when I'm overwhelmed to let the people that are closest to me that I need a minute. That is my first thing because being overwhelmed usually for me in the past when I was not aware, I was more up to saying the wrong thing to the closest person to me, and just because they were close, you sometimes feel that you can say whatever you want, and that is the biggest mistake. So right now, when I actually recognize, because there's times that I don't, that I recognize that I'm overwhelmed, the first thing that I do is, hey, I need 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, or sometimes an hour. I need to get away from everyone, everywhere, everything, just so I can calm myself down, put everything where it belongs, and then I can start making decisions and start making progress in a positive note. That is me, and I agree with you, Bruno. We men, we deal differently because we either get angry or we just explode. I mean, neither of them are good.
Oh my god! Like I don't even know what I'm laughing. It's not even funny because the damage, right? And it's like from my own perspective, people like, oh my god, like, I mean, I have, like, I'm laughing now, but I most certainly wasn't laughing when I broke the things I broke, right? When I said the things I said. Like, I'm talking about like crazy stuff, right? It's, I think, like, for a man to deal with overwhelm, like, it takes a very strong man to control himself. Very strong man. Because, it's like, because I feel like a lot of people, and I truly believe this about men. A lot of men, they just keep everything to themselves. Like, for example, my father's the same. My father, he just holds it. Like, he holds it, 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 and it dies inside of them, and it kills him, right?
But if I may interject, like, can you blame him?
Absolutely
I
not. I
mean,
can't blame him.
the older I get, the more I notice that. Sorry, and has nothing to do with you two ladies, but
Yeah,
no lady, no man, nobody else cares about another man. And let's be honest, when we're among men, just men, no women, friends. Hey, what's wrong? Oh, this, that, and the third. All right, brother, keep it up, and that's it. There's no more talk. That's it. So that man learns to just keep it and keep it and keep it and keep it. And God forbid he says that to his woman or to, it's just gonna go worse. It's gonna
yeah,
backfire.
absolutely, and it will, and that's very true. So, and it's like, I just I don't blame him, and it's like, I don't blame any man, anyways, right? So that's really what it is, right? So, yes, and it's like, but yeah, it just takes like a very, very strong man, and I feel that, like, each man in business, like, whether if it's business or they work for a business, right? I think each man has its own way, and there's nothing harder than feeling alone in a world, right? It's super hard, right? There's nothing harder than that, right? And I figure that men have to, a lot of men should feel eternally grateful that they actually have somebody they can actually open up to, right? Somebody that they can welcome into their secret life, because I truly believe this. Like, everybody has a secret life, and the secret life doesn't have to be cheating or corruption or, oh my god, like, but it can be people's fears, it can be people's insecurities, it can be people's vulnerabilities, it can be everything. I truly believe everybody has a secret life. For a man to be able to have somebody in this secret life, right, and to be able to talk about, oh, business is going this way and stuff, and you're kind of the only one that listens anyways, it's like, oh bro, like, this is happening and stuff. It's like, nah, it's fine, let's just go for a beer, you'll be fine, don't worry, we'll go for a beer, whatever, get your mind out of it, right? Or let's go for a run, or whatever it is, right? Like, a lot of men don't have that, right? And it's just incredibly tough. So, like, each man has its own way of really doing things, and we can blame any of them. But anyways, so, women, superstars. So, tell us, how do you deal with overwhelm?
I'm gonna go first, Arena.
No, you can go, Kara.
Okay. Um, well, so actually, I'm going to mirror a lot of what you guys said. What my experience is that most humans, whether male or female, have not been taught, groomed, or trained on how to process emotions in a really healthy and collaborative kind of way. This is why, especially like in relationship, and I'm going to say just relationship, period, because it could be a professional relationship, it could be a personal relationship, it does not matter. But in any relationship, when somebody brings up feels, we either like, I don't, okay, or we try and offer solutions, or we have a hard time letting the feels be and coming up with solutions without it feeling weird, gross, or combative a lot of the times. And I love that we're talking about love because my understanding of the best way to handle overwhelm is to love on yourself. We often look outwards when we're overwhelmed. Who's going to help me? Who's going to save me? I'm drowning, right? Like literally. And You. You're the first person who can save you. And that starts by acknowledging and accepting your own feelings. Then it goes into finding out what is it that's overwhelming you. Overwhelm is like one of those blanket statements, right? Where so many things live underneath it. It's like anger. Anger is a blanket emotion. You're not angry. You're frustrated and it's coming out as anger. You're irritated, it's coming out as anger. You're embarrassed and it's coming out as anger. Overwhelm is a similar thing. Either I'm not sleeping, I'm not hydrating, I'm not having enough fun, I'm putting in too many hours, there's more work than life in my life. All of those contribute to overwhelm. And whether you are male or female, consistently what I see that works is to accept that, acknowledge it, and then figure out how to love yourself better. And the winning solution in a relationship with this is when you learn to love yourself better, you can then communicate it better to someone else, and you can tell them how you need to show up. You can show up and say, "Hey, I need a sounding board. Can I just verbally explode all over you so that I can hear my own thoughts and like untangle this mess?" Or I need solutions. Can I tell you what's going on and can you help me figure out my way through this mess? Or I just want to say it and for you to be like, yeah, that's stupid and it sucks because I need somebody else to recognize that it's stupid and it sucks and it's not going to change right this second and I'm okay with that. But right now it's stupid and it sucks. I need somebody else to see that. And when you know what you need, you can ask for what you need and people love to give it. That's the craziest part. All of these contentions that come around overwhelm or stress management is because we don't know how to ask for what we want and what they're giving us isn't what we need. And then we're mad that they're not giving us what we need, but also we don't know what we need. So of course they don't. And the more you can love you and say this is what I need in this situation, the more they're like, well, I'd love to do that for you. Great. Well, that was easy.
Yes, awesome. I love what you shared, Kara. So what is for me, I always love to ask question, what exactly is causing that overwhelm? Right? Just to get into to the bottom of it. And the more it's like, peeling the onions, right? The more you ask these questions. And again, we go back to our thoughts because everything stems from our thinking because we make up our own stories. And once we have the tools to really deal with these stories, because these are just our stories, this is not the truth. And once we start like really questioning ourselves and analyzing and saying, well, okay, I feel overwhelmed because I have a huge to-do list and I don't have enough hours and I just don't know how I'm gonna deal with that, right? And sometimes all it takes just to pause, to take a couple of deep breaths in and realize that there is always a way. Let's break it down. Okay, if that list is too huge, is there a way for us to cut it in half? And for me, what works, I put 3 items on my list that I know I want to accomplish by the end of the day. Because the way our energy works, we like to know that something was done from start to end. That's when we feel good about ourselves. So break something into, like small pieces that you can actually accomplish every day. So this way you feel that closure, this way you feel good about yourself, and then you can sleep well and know that next day you wake up and you are going to handle the rest.
Awesome. That's beautiful. That's amazing. Beautiful tips, honestly. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tips. So, as we said, as John said, actually, we said that we are gonna have a small one today. So, we're gonna go into our promotions. So, I believe Irina has a little something to promote. Actually, a big something. My mistake. A big something. Big, big things happening for all of us. So, Irina, uh, the floor is yours. So,
Yes. Awesome. Thanks. So we are all part of this beautiful summit and we are all speakers on that summit. That summit is all about how do we actually tap into the love It's all about experience love again after the divorce, but it doesn't have to be just after the divorce, because there are a lot of great tips for self love, for self care, for fitness, for nutrition, on for all other things. So we are inviting everybody to register and experience for themselves what this is all about, because we all can learn something. Come with the mind of the beginner and know that we can all learn and up level our love life, no matter where you are in your game. All right, that's it for me.
Awesome. Anybody else has anything to promote?
I have one today. Lines with kind of what we were talking about on taking care of yourself first so you can take care of other people. I spent a year deep diving with a geneticist and some other trainers, and we came away with a 6 week training course on behavioral genetics. And what we are going to do is give you the science that lets you understand what's happening in your brain as you're doing things so that you can intentionally and purposefully nurture the pathways in your brain in a way that will activate your DNA to make you more of who you actually want to be. It's very exciting and very nerdy, and I love every second of it.
Yay.
That's
Awesome.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So, John, do you have any promotion that you want? Do you have anything to promote?
At the moment, I do not have anything to promote besides that. Hey, if you're having issues with your website and don't know why your website is not or getting you leads, well, contact me. I'll be happy to take a free look at your website and see what we can do for you.
Awesome. Oh, great. Beautiful, beautiful. And you absolutely should contact with John. He's a great. Has a great agency, great services. Kara as well, taking care of business, takes literally care of your actual business, right? And Irina, a great manifestation coach. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Amazing coach, amazing energy, and truly limitless people right here. So that's awesome. So, anybody else? One last tip uh, that you remember of, um, that you want to share with people regarding this topic? No tips.
Just
All
give
right.
like a summary and we come up with the tips. Just, like summarize, like in one,
Okay.
two sentences, and just, like start us off and we come up with the tips.
Okay. Sure. Absolutely. So as in a summary, great tip actually. Thank you so much. That was an actual tip, but for me. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah, so we talked about scheduling out our own overwhelm for men and women. We talked about like communication. We talked about tonality. We talked about like truly like how we can like combine our self worth with our self love in business. But most importantly, we talked about how we can better deal with ourselves, right? Because we can never forget, and I think I'm gonna say this a lot of times throughout this month, right? But in coaching, right? Whatever type of coaching it is, it's energy, right? Even business coaching is emotions. You're dealing with people's fears around money. You're dealing with people's insecurities and vulnerabilities about money. So every single type of coaching is as simple as this. It's always about reclaiming the power that you thought you once had and you lost, you never believed you had, right? Or you sometimes lose and you don't know how to get it back, right? It's always about reclaiming that power. It's not about controlling the power. It's always about like finding freedom in that power, right? That's what it is. So that's basically a little bit of the summary, right? So around that summary, I think I made myself clear, and everybody understood. Do you have a tip to change somebody's life today?
Okay. Okay. So, from a leadership point of view, what I would say on as an overarching thing for this topic is that when we're talking about self love in a professional space, right? what you really are recognizing is that you're an entire universe, which is more than enough. And that is an important thing to recognize so that you can strive for work life alignment. Now, I say that specifically because what I would highlight here is we have not come at this place from a place of love for so long that we have established this hustle cult, this belief that we have to kill ourselves to succeed. And then we talk about this work life balance, but work is like grains of sand and your life is the entire beach. So if you want to balance your life with your work, you're going to have to give up a lot of life, and that doesn't sound great. That actually sounds the opposite of great. So if you really want to align your life and you want to lean into leadership and you want to bring your love into your business, it is about recognizing that you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of this hot mess before you address that hot mess. And that will combat all of the overwhelm, all of that hustle cult, and you'll find true work life alignment.
I love it. Can I also add to the topic of
Yes,
self-worth?
yes,
Like
yes.
when we talk about self-worth and self-love, the way I look at it is we are always raised with that point that for us to have something, we have to deserve it. And honestly, self-worth comes stems from worthiness. And for worthiness, there is nothing what we have to do. Just the fact that we are breathing and we are living this life is worthy enough for us to have anything what we want. Successful business, thriving in life, having everything. And it's not even a question, who do you think you are? I know who I am because just because I am breathing and I have the birthright, this is my birthright. I am worthy of everything what I'm ready to claim. That's to the point of self-worth. And self-love is just keep encouraging yourself, keep just loving that little child inside of you, that child that always there, that little boy or that little girl, and connect to that child and always ask what does the child want. And the more we nurture that child, the more we really pay attention to what our needs are, right? Because like Kara mentioned, if we are not going to do it for ourselves, who is going to do it for us? So we take that responsibility, and self-love, it's all about be more compassionate, be more accepting to ourselves, and keep loving ourselves on a deeper level every day.
I love
That
that.
is a great tip.
Thank
John,
you.
Well,
what's
with
up?
me, it's pretty much keep it simple. Like life has too many issues on the day-to-day basis. Find a way to keep it simple. I know we get overwhelmed, and one of the things that I'm working on, and I say I'm working, is because I'm not perfect at it, but I'm working on stop the multitasking. I'm starting to put that word outside of my vocabulary because multitasking is the king of allowing you to make mistakes. So focus on one, do it with love, and wait until the next day. That's pretty much it.
Yay! Awesome!
That's beautiful, man. This was special today. I love this. It was special. It was special topic for special people.
Thanks, Bruno,
So
for
that
leading us.
Woo!
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being a part of it. So yeah, I guess we're wrapped up. I think we're on time as well. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too small. It was all right. So everything went smoothly, and I'll invite you all next week. You know, um, I invite you all to take these tips, connect with us. You need anything, connect with us, reach out, send a message, make a phone call. You know, you want to help, we're here to help. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see you all next week.
Just to let you know, next week is Manifest Your Vision, aligning business goals with self love. So if you're interested on getting in tune with that, make sure you see us. We're here next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.